This draft class is stacked with talent at corner, but today we're going to focus on one of my personal favorites. Someone that's been turning heads, and not just because of his great name, Robert Longerbeam, cornerback out of Rutgers. Robert would join the Scarlet Knights as a skinny wide receiver from Virginia, but wouldn't see any action in his first year as he'd redshirt and only suited up for 5 games. During the offseason, he transitioned to the defensive side and convert to the cornerback we know today, though he wouldn't see consistent action until his 3rd season, being a rotational player. This would all change in his 3rd season.
Cartman on play action, first down, it's taken right back. Intercepted by Rutgers. Robert Longerbeam, who had a pick last week against Boston College, gets another one against Wagner.
Robert would finally have his breakout season, recording 36 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 6 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions. He'd steadily improve his numbers throughout his next 2 seasons, and after another solid year in 2024, Robert would declare for the 2025 NFL Draft and receive an invite to the NFL Combine.
Let's talk about my favorite rep that I've seen so far from the Shrine Bowl practices, and it comes from Rutgers cornerback Robert Longerbeam. Watch this rep. Ricky White's the wide receiver. He's quick, he's precise, he's running a whip route here. He's got multiple breaks. Robert Longerbeam, look at the footwork, how well he is able to stay in phase with Ricky White through that second break, is able to chop his feet, mirror him so well, and even get that PBU there.
Everything points to Robert having great coverage skills that can translate well to the NFL. He shows off his great footwork and hip movement that allows him to keep pace with receivers, utilizing his crisp cuts and good back pedal to keep the upper hand without having to wind back up. He does a very good job at understanding the zone he's in while keeping his eyes on the quarterback to possibly make a play on the pass, while also making sure the receiver doesn't gain the advantage on him. He has the great burst to get back on cuts and eye-popping ball skills that allow him to be a pest for receivers on a route, which was showcased by his 42 pass breakups throughout his collegiate career. And Robert has a surprising competitive fire despite his skinnier frame, giving maximum effort to make the tackle, and has shown he isn't afraid to step up and run support despite his size. Because of this, Robert has been able to show his great ability to bring down bigger ball carriers purely with his high motor, which can surprise a lot of players. I brought up Robert's frame several times, and I did that for a good reason. He sits at 5'11", 175 pounds, which is extremely undersized for an NFL corner. For reference, 2023 first-round pick Emmanuel Forbes was around the same size, and he struggled with physicality, constantly getting bullied by bigger receivers, which is something that Robert could definitely struggle with. He lacks the proper strength to fight off blocks, which could wash him out of plays entirely, practically zeroing out any impact he could have in run support. Despite being classed as a lanky corner, Robert doesn't exactly have the best length as a corner, giving up too much space on boundary throws that can allow a receiver to catch a pass, despite Robert having good positioning on the route. There are also concerns about his recovery speed. If he gets beat off the line, he can struggle to catch up, lacking a true second gear to make up the distance and can be taken advantage of on vertical routes. And while Robert does have a very good motor and the fire you'd want in a corner, his tackling is extremely inconsistent. On some plays, he'll wrap up and drive like an experienced corner, and on others, he'll try wrapping up from the arms and get pushed off, or even whiff on tackles entirely. His technique will have to be cleaned up quite a bit to match up well at the next level. I really like Robert as a later round prospect. He's got some impressive coverage abilities for someone rated as low as he is, but the reason he's rated so low is because of his size, which in Robert's case is a real concern. We've seen the skinny corner experiment fail in the NFL, and I think it's really scared a lot of teams from taking a chance on a corner like that. But I think the big difference between Robert and Emmanuel is Robert has the work ethic to get better, something that was shown in his college career. But even that comes with some question marks, with a story about him wanting to leave Rutgers because he had, quote, better guys ahead of him. He also didn't have an outstanding NFL Combine, which I really think he needed. And unfortunately, his issues are more difficult to fix than you might think. Despite how much I love Robert and his game, I can't overlook those issues, and I could see him going in the 5th or 6th round. He'll definitely get drafted, I just don't see him being an immediate producer. But that's not entirely a bad thing. Give Robert some time to put on some weight and fix the issues with his game, and I think he could end up being a serviceable corner at the next level. But let me know what you guys think of Robert Longerbeam. I'd really love to hear it, and if you like Robert or my analysis of him, maybe consider dropping a like and maybe subscribe for more content just like this.